There is no obstacle we can't overcome. Within each of our hearts lies a yearning for peace. Even in this odd place, I truly believe that each of us can find a way to live in harmony. As I was saying, I am Jaina Proudmoore. We don't need to fight, but if you insist, so be it.
Fresh meat.
Gale Force Esports up 2-0 in this series over No Tomorrow. That's what happens when I put all the words in my sentence together into one. Gale Force has picked the last battleground, and we'll pick this one too. Battlefield of Eternity is where we're headed, Dread.
BOE here for Gale Force Esports. Gale Force has done pretty well overall on this map. You know, last week the performance they saw against Tempo Storm specifically was one where I was really impressed, I guess, by their BOE play overall. It's very interesting. We've had like 4 different ways to approach Battlefield of Eternity since the start of HGC for North America, but it does feel like it's slowly getting figured out and what is considered, I guess, most optimal, or I guess overall meta, if you will.
Yeah, and that started with Gale Force Esports. I mean, they are now at 4-1 on BOE.
Yeah.
They've only lost it once, and even saying, you know, we know that Tempo Storm struggles on that battleground, so we wanted to pick that, and it really felt like the nail in the coffin in that series versus Tempo after Gale Force Esports was so dominant in games 1 and 2. But Tempo did bring the fight there for sure.
That being said, we have seen the fall of Artanis in North America, but still is relevant here on BOE. We'll see how it plays out.
I think both of these teams would love to get him, but more so No Tomorrow with Casanova, even to the point that we might just see Gale Force Esports ban him out.
I would... Man, it is a unique position. I would actually probably feel more comfortable banning the Artanis than most other heroes if I'm GFD in this position.
What about TAS, though, with TAS Tracer?
See, TAS, okay, you're right. The TAS Tracer's scary. I don't fear TAS. I fear TAS Tracer.
Right.
So that is the tough position to be in when it comes to the draft, because you're right. It's a weird one. But at the same time, you could bait them into first picking Tassadar, pick Tracer on your own. That's a route you could go because it complements the map well enough to maybe justify that pick. No Tomorrow, though, banning out the Li Ming.
What they could do is ban Artanis here. No Tomorrow has first pick. Oh, okay. They first pick Ragnaros every single game, so that they've been on Battlefield of Eternity. So if Ragnaros and TAS were up, maybe Gale Force Esports could hope, okay, No Tomorrow will pick Ragnaros, we get TAS Tracer, and proceed to dominate in Gale Force fashion. But that's not going to be the case, instead banning Tassadar.
The TAS ban out. So is it? Is this where we see it? Are we going to see the Artanis once more? I love it. I don't think it needs to be picked first pick necessarily, but again, the priority in North America has kind of been all over the place. Maybe a risk that No Tomorrow doesn't feel comfortable taking. Malfurion locked in here. Where is Gale Force going to move into with their 2 picks without the Li Ming? That is such a staple Malf Li Ming rotation on BOE for North America, and neither are not going to be available.
Great adjustments from No Tomorrow to cripple that for Gale Force. taking away Malfurion, where, like I said, they have been first picking Ragnaros every single time they've played Battlefield of Eternity from here. Gale Force respond with Zeratul and ETC. Another Zeratul on Battlefield.
Yeah, Zeratul on Battlefield has become more popular, you know, just waiting for that isolation, being able to get those kills. But again, it's not, how do I say this? I don't look at that pick as saying that it's GG no matter how prominent it is or how frequent we often see it in North America. It just feels like overall Zeratul is a very strong pick, but it doesn't complement anything towards the map. It's just looking to pick, looking to get those fights. And most of the time picks like that are, I mean, they're totally fine. It's just usually you wait later into the draft, so seeing that this high priority, it leaves opportunities for No Tomorrow to be able to punish it into the draft. Their answer right now is going to be the variant for his lockdown. They have the mouth pairing. Where's it going to go for damage? Do they back out, go to the Tychus roots? Do they, you know, change it out, go to something else here when it comes to the DPS? I personally think a Falstad would be insanely valuable right now. It's counter to, you know, having the Zeratul up onto the map, being at every gust for every void, getting that trade. It's got good burst follow-up to the variant, and he does well in the race himself.
No Tomorrow want to get Vala, but in having Varian, it's a nice response that we see from a lot of teams versus ETCs. If you get too aggressive, too aggro with your ETC, Varian just says, okay, charges him, taunts him, and they can turn around and kill him. Gale Force are going to ban Ragnaros, knowing what No Tomorrow likes to play on BOE, and the counter ban on Rhaegar for No Tomorrow, choking out supports.
The support choke is going to be real and one to be feared. But I have an interesting, you know, thing to look at here when it comes to ETC specifically. We've talked about ETC. His win rates across the board has been, he's seen the highs, he's met the lows, and somehow he's in the middle right now. But when it comes to BOE specifically in North America, his win rate is only sitting at 29%.
I know, yeah,
he
it's
is
crazy.
Getting wrecked on Battlefield of Eternity.
And against that, Varian is at a 63%.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation to find ourselves in here. The fact that, you know, again, ETC was considered one of the best for so long, is still highly contested on this map specifically, purely off of his just setup for the Immortal, and then his passive to complement the race itself. But yeah, that is out of one of the highest sample sizes of any hero on this map, by the way. It's not just like, oh, there's a couple ETC games. He's literally one of the highest priority heroes across the board on BOE.
The hunt is on, says Gale Force. Lunara and Tychus.
Counter strategy, pick hunt on No Tomorrow with Illidan right now, and you can't lose because the hunt is on, and then he actually uses the hunt, and then that's just how that works, right? Like the lore battle, Illidan just wins. It's game.
Who's the better hunter?
I feel like Illidan. He's definitely picked more often, so I feel like probably more successful there. But we've got ourselves a Lunara. That is interesting. It is a Sylvanas effect almost, like we saw before. She's very good in scenarios, but not so good in other ones. Here, I guess overarching every hero is kind of like that, but her window of good opportunities are much smaller than most.
Second, Lunara in HGC North America. The first was played by Superstars and Braxis, and we were like, how is this going to work? And it turns out very well.
It did.
It did work out. We'll see if that's the same for Gale Force, but of course, Nature's Culling is the talking point for Lunara. Once she gets that talent at level 7, she can do a lot more damage in the race. But so too can No Tomorrow by getting Falstad and Artanis.
Yeah, this is actually a very good draft on the side of No Tomorrow here. They put themselves into a beautiful position of running a solid 1-4, their 4-man being the Vala, Falstad, Varian, and Malfurion. The kill potential that they have is amazing. Artanis is so good into the 4-man, and the squishy backline with the Zeratul, Tychus, Lunara on the side of GFE, all within kill range early on for No Tomorrow here. The question is, do we see, you know, do fan things there onto the Zeratul, get a couple of picks here and there, and snowball the game out of control, or is the calculated play on the side of No Tomorrow enough? Last pick here, going to the support. Who's it going to be? Karazim?
I think it's Karazim, but maybe Morales.
I think it's going to be... Oh.
I think more so Morales at this point.
I don't think they can risk it.
With swaps? Okay, so Karazim.
And not even this, just the Varian. Just Varian. One taunt, you're dead. 100%. No stopping it. But it's a good trade-off because you're sitting there thinking, well, I have no cleanse on Karazim till 16,
and that doesn't look too good. We've seen, you know, that matchup quite often, even when getting the 16. The dash isn't really providing that much other than ridding of one combo when there's so many CCs existing elsewhere. So it's a cool trade-up, but I think Karzim just purely on complementing the map. I did like the idea of like Lunara wins in long fights when it comes to just her raw DPS, and then taking Morales is only going to accident, you know, you don't lose long fights. But Varian usually just doesn't have those. he either won quickly or he lost quickly.
With Malfurion too, right? It's like, oh, somebody's taunted. Oh, somebody swapped, and roots are there, and everybody's dead.
Yeah.
So fast.
It's so I do like that they didn't move in that direction.
I love No Tomorrow's draft.
I do too. I think it's insane.
They have a potential to race even still, or if not, they have so many ways of defending at the same time too. They have options, whereas I don't feel like Gale Force Esports has that.
And they've got a global to soak side lanes in the downtime. They've got a little bit of everything when it comes to what you want on BOE, and that's why I was complimenting it. Like, I love their 1-4 split. I love their side soak. I honestly just feel like Fan is going to do Fan things, and then No Tomorrow's going to be like, well, this is where we are. How do we come back with it?
And we get another Tiger JK Falstad, I hear. So there's that to look forward to as well. Yeah, I really enjoyed that draft. However, No Tomorrow did have a little bit of everything in the last game too, as we talked about it. And didn't work out as planned, but the idea was there. We saw the possibilities for their composition. And again, I see it here for No Tomorrow, for them to be able to take a game off of Gale Force.
That being said, their little bit of everything was like actually just like a... they didn't commit to any direction. They didn't complement the map. They didn't look towards skirmishing. It was legitimately just, you know. But this is considering not only the map and skirmishing, right? I would say I agree that it does seem like both drafts were kind of all over in terms of what it provides, I guess, overall. But this one is much more focused onto the map and what it provides. So I guess by using the same terminology, this one is infinite better than the last one. It was just kind of like, hopefully Johanna Jaina does something in the last game. This one is scary.
Well, we are ready for game number 3. Let's see if this infinite better draft can work out in No Tomorrow's favor as we head into BOE.
An infinite better draft. That being said, it's not necessarily infinite better as in the best draft you could ever have in the world, but I do think it's very, very good. Gale Force here has a lot to answer to. And Lunara, when it comes to heroics, what are we going to see? Lunara probably going to be... Man, that's a tough one. It's a bit of a doozy. I do think we'll see leaping. I think it's going to be leap.
It'll be assassination idea, right? Where you just have leaping strike, and then Karzim and Zeratul can quickly move in and make it a 4v5 before No Tomorrow blinks.
Yeah, because if you run Thornwood Vine, it then increases the probability of Trank being picked, and if Trank gets picked, oh, hold on a minute. That is going to be Trees here in a bad position so far. Akafe's going for the punches. He's going to be able to confirm it there with a dash. Falstead left along towards the top lane. Very well done. GFE getting first blood here. But the Trank comes into play, and Tranquility into the composition that No Tomorrow has. If you get a little damage out and then they respawn with the Trank, voiding and walking away is really going to be your best answer. Like, think about Artanis Varian and this entire comp with the Tranquility running at you. Like, it's not fun. So I think I would like to avoid that at all costs with the Lunara build here.
So you want No Tomorrow to take Tranquility?
No, if the Thornwood Vine comes out, I want Trank. Yes.
I see, okay.
But if not, then I would take Leaping Strike, and I think Leaping Strike's the safe one, because if Tranquility is used, it becomes terrifying. The play potential that they have after Void's dropped or any scenario, just with the lockdown that they have. Because when you Trank, you need to force the fight, but they can on the side of No Tomorrow. They have swaps, they've got Variant Taunt, and they've got Falstad Gust. They get to choose the fight that they want.
But it seems way too risky. Speaking of risky, Tiger has to barrel roll back to take Leaping Strike against somebody you could pick Twilight Dream, Varian. Seems pretty scary to Leaping Strike into the middle of No Tomorrow. I mean, you can set up in a way so that you leap over away from Varian, but in this case, if he has Thornwood Vine and gets a Nature's Culling, then he has a very safe way of poking down Immortals.
I very much agree with you, so let's play out how team fights happen.
Okay.
Every time that No Tomorrow initiates, what's the first thing they're going to do?
Swap.
Or
charge.
Okay, so when those cooldowns are used, you can never bank on a swap, right? Like, it's unfair to go, okay, we think that's going to happen. So the most reliable fight force is going to charge, and it's going to follow up taunt. The minute that happens, Lunara can do whatever she wants with Leaping Strike. She has nothing to worry about in terms of the opposite side. But somebody who does have something to worry about is going to be No Tomorrow here. They're already down to the Artanis. That's going to be very infalling as well, and their eyes now set towards this Immortal. It's not even going to be close when it comes to the race. Artanis doing is, or excuse me, not Artanis. Who is that down there?
Zeratul and Karazim.
Zeratul Karazim down there doing his thing. Being able to do a lot of damage there to match it up. So very well done so far into the early parts. But again, how the fight starts, I do think that Leaving Trek will get more.
It seems like No Tomorrow was banking on Gale Force Esports with this composition, just wanting to race, and went in and did not expect a bunch of Gale Force Esports to be like, no, we're cool with defending instead.
It's cool.
We're
It's cool.
just going to do this instead. Now Gale Force, whenever they want, could turn around and start to race, but they're even still watching for more kills. Fan charging around, gets revealed. Airho gets hit by the stun, dives away. He's not making it out of here.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to be able to survive this situation. Defense again for GFE. Falstad on the side looking to get the soak. Jason throws out the W, gets real scared. Instant vault coming out from him. Meanwhile, the Zeratul Karazim duel is back. Looking to get the peel here. A 3-2 split is the choice for Gale Force Esports. Swap is the kill there. It, in fact, is going to be there. So very well done. The 2 picks. Man, No Tomorrow. They got a lot more out of that situation than I expected them to, and that's going to bring them close to back into this game.
Seemed a little greedy from Gale Force Esports to spread at that point, right? Like they wanted, and I say this a lot, but I've never maybe meant it more than I do now, to have their cake and eat it too. Yes. They were like, we have low health bars, we've been sitting here taking poke, and yet we're still going to defend while also sending our support and damage dealer back to race. It was just it was a lot to try to hold.
As a general rule, from a rotational decision standpoint, is if your team, especially on BOE, so like any situation to where you get a kill onto your opponent, right? Every rotation you should make from that point on should be committing one more man than your opponent did. That way you can make sure you ensure that part of the objective without risking too much. So in that situation, they killed 2 people, which gave it 3 only available on the offensive, but they committed a 3-2 split, matching it, making it even. Your advantage doesn't exist unless you commit that +1 factor, right? And so it's just something to be considering. And yes, that is like an overall philosophy type deal, and one that may never come into value in the rest of this game. But it is interesting to see that transitions and when teams can totally maximize the value out of their advantages.
And as we've talked about for Gale Force Esports, they want to win this series convincingly. They want to show no weakness. We have seen sometimes from Gale Force, albeit a lot less than at the beginning of HGC, some over-aggression.
Yeah, a little bit.
And wanting to make sure that they have that completely locked down is important for them heading into the Western Clash. But still, they are in control of this game. Swap goes down, Akka facing trouble. Gets caught by a nice follow-up route too. Airho in the back, Gust or Fly coming in, not Gust yet, because it's not 10. Gale Force will get out, only losing a little health on Akka.
Nature's calling here for Mike Udall in the top lane. Is going to be able to let him capture this map objective just fine. Interesting position to be in here now if you are No Tomorrow. You're still waiting on your 10s for your kill potential overall. Gale Force here with just the success they had during that first phase was far more than I would have expected. This is going to be it though. Pressure camp on top for GFE. We see the Immortals are going to be spawning. This is going to be a free clear. Oh my goodness, that taunt combo once, or not even the taunt, the Warbringer combo with the roots here, getting a kill. Perfect timing for No Tomorrow.
And important to remember, again, this is Talking Trees playing Malfurion, not normally having Tiger JK. Gale Force are in the spot, the positioning of the Immortals that they can put quite a lot of damage still with Nature's Calling and the rest of the damage dealers to start bringing down the health bar of the Immortal, but now No Tomorrow, because they got that ETC kill, are in a better spot at least to start for this Immortal phase, or the second Immortal phase.
Yeah, Falstad here is getting the soak, getting rid of the Shaman, but Fan's going to get the flank, barrel roll right on out, a step in the opposite direction. That being said, he would have died almost 100% no matter what, but he ends up falling here. Did get to, get a lot of damage though onto the Immortal. 28 KDA on Fan Zeratul.
I remember looking that up and was just blown away because his KDA, otherwise, it's not the top KDA for the team. Locus Mike, he is running to the wrong base. It's going to be a kill for Lunara, but at the very least, can they tie it up? It'll be a 1-for-1 so far. Casanova jumping in. Here comes the fly from Tiger JK.
And they have pressure on bottom, so this is in their favor. Gale Force here with the obvious experience advantage. The more they can pressure this fight, the better it's going to be. But they're looking to take it rather than training the Immortals itself, which is the safe route here for No Tomorrow. They're now going to be able to back out, do the damage that they need. And so that is very well done for No Tomorrow. They got, you know, a moment to step back and maybe turn this game. Prone interrupted the back two. Tiger, sadly, you are not going to be making it out here. Tough spot. This game so far has been an absolute bloodbath for Gale Force Esports, and a lot of it just surprising that No Tomorrow hasn't been, you know, as aggressive in response with the Variant comp. But maybe that'll change when 10 comes in. You know, things get a lot crazier with Variant post 10.
Speaking of 10, leaping strikes here for Gale Force Esports. Palm as well for Akaface. Still waiting for ETC. Very likely to be a mosh pit on this particular battleground. There's just so many spots that you can get a great mosh pit in the center, but sometimes have stage dive if they want to make sure that they have a global that keeps up with Falstad. But just the fact that he's holding it, a lot of times lends to a mosh pit.
We'll find out. I used to think that, like, on BOE specifically, we would see, you know, only the mosh pits, but we have seen more stage dives here than I think, more than anybody, I guess, projected. And it's not always been just even into matching a global, you know? It's been a lot of times just picking stage dive. So we'll see where they go. But Tiger JK was lucky enough to escape that time. Sadly, that hasn't been the story for the most part. Urho goes in. There's the taunt. Do they have the damage? Leaping strike.
Just dies right in the middle of one of those jumps.
You know, accepted his face. Trying to maximize stat padding, you know, a little bit here and there. But now Gale Force here is going to have to defend a 4-man. Everybody is making the rotation towards top. The camp, I mean, there's very little siege available on the side of No Tomorrow.
Oh.
That mosh pit, though, is something to note. That is going to be a 2-man route. Urho goes in very much. That is going to be a lot of W's used. He's going to run out, ends up costing him his life. Now, with the void drop there, Tiger JK onto his own. Looks to flank elsewhere. That was
confusing.
Yeah, a little bit of weirdness on both sides.
Casanova's in trouble. There goes the leaping strike. Michael Udall has one more and leaps away, but he gets taken out. Tiger JK trees both with low health bars. The dive from Fan 2, another kill. Akaface really able to follow up both Equinox and Fan whenever they go after a target, just giving that little extra boost of damage to make sure to secure more kills. And so Gale Force Esports, they did have some weirdness like the mosh pit, but in a good setup for this Immortal phase. Yeah, they're going to be in a fine spot for now. With that 13 in reach for them, we see the defensive posturing here for both sides, understandable, but again, it is going to be only in favor of GFE, considering they're going to be closing in there towards the 13 talents here. Falstad's trying to stop that elsewhere. We're still yet to really just see a traditional fight out of these teams. I really want to know how these team fights are going to play out. There's the taunt used. There's going to be a good leaping strike. It's going to allow Varian to, or excuse me, Mike Udall to escape from the Varian. Equinox power slide onto Mal. But Falstad actually died there into the side lane. Fan getting the 1v1. Huge mismatch down there. Zeratul completely is just a direct counter to Falstad in 1v1s, and it shows. Follow up once again. Still 23 seconds out until mosh pit. Equinox following for quite a while. Here comes the flank. Huge flank from Gale Force Esports. Fan dives into the backline. And then they walk away. It was calculated, though, considering how close that wall was. It was very risky. If he dropped Void, the ability to walk away is going to be quick. We actually saw that in Game 1. Dropping the Void next to the gate usually doesn't pay out. It's a lot better for Gale Force, though, because they have 13 and they have Mosh now, too. Yeah, the fact that Gale Force isn't offensive, though, with Nature's Calling, with having 13 talents here, is not using an advantage at all. They're legitimately just giving up their advantage at this point in time. So it does look better, but they're not capitalizing, therefore it's really not. So Falstad will be able to soak. Camps are going to be picked up on both sides. Gale Force figures this out now. Now they're going to move on to the cap, and they're going to look to get onto the Immortal. So we'll see if the response is going to be here for No Tomorrow, as Falstad now is getting the flight. Zerho diving in. Equinox pushes him back. Has the Encore 2 for a double pushback. Gale Force is just going to force the rotation and be able to walk away again. Can No Tomorrow make a fight happen before then? Taunt goes down. Roots underneath. Void Prison hits 4 in the back. Here comes the damage off of that. Nope. Gale Force instead happy to just get the Immortal and run right back to their base, get healed up for the next half. The only problem is that looked good there, yes, but it costs 100-second cooldown for that situation to look all right. So now if they run a 1-4 split on the side of No Tomorrow, the one being only just Casanova there onto the Artanis, they're looking for a full 5-man for now, maybe questioning if they need better engage.
But so not going to capitalize anywhere for now. But again, this is such a good position with that Void down for No Tomorrow if they run this split.
Swap. Hits nobody. Playing this out slowly. There goes the stun. Follow-up Roots 2. Casanova's there. Palm hits Tychus. Does not get procced. But the fight will happen down below inside. Arrow does not get that kill for the team. Mike Udall's in trouble. They have a leaping strike to get back up the wall. He does not. Lunara gets taken out. Finally, No Tomorrow finds their kill.
Very well done to be able to get the kill. Now, what does No Tomorrow get out of it here? As we see Varian there onto the defense, everybody else moving on to the Immortal. This has been such interesting play from these teams here into this game. I mean, outside of obviously, you know, maybe the lack of power slide in the Mosh on top, Urho actually is going to make it out for now. Good counter route on the side of Trees. Fan is going to get swapped, teleporting right out of there. But just, you know, Gale Force not forcing their advantage. And then the not committing a 1-4 split on the side of No Tomorrow, even though their comp is legitimately legendary in that position. It seems a lot of these rotations seem to be you know, just very 5-man oriented and not willing to risk anything else, right? Just fully as a group, afraid of maybe getting picked, I'm guessing is the #1 thought.
Is there a power spike maybe that Gale Force is waiting on to hit?
For 16, if there is a 16 power spike, it would solely be on, Karzim has a pretty big one. And then I would say it would maybe Lunara, maybe? I don't look at the
Getting Starwood Spear for range?
Yeah, the range kill potential onto a target, but I don't look at that as definitely not big enough to justify for the decision-making so far.
Down. Fan's starting to look for where he can get an engage. Still 29 seconds though for Mosh. So it'd be only with Void Prison as the primary way.
Oh, that
Gust even going to be used, but it's only on a couple of people.
Yeah, I would actually just let this fight end if I'm No Tomorrow. This is a risky situation. It's only on Urho. It cost him the Void. Fan actually missed his W over the wall. The Palm's going to be used as well. Jason eating a lot of damage there from Mike Udall, but he's going to be healed up. Both teams are going to back out. That costs Void once more. Gale Force Esports here losing a major cooldown to be able to force or maybe pause a fight for only a moment.
Have they ever had Mosh and Void at the same time?
Probably not. I would say it's very unrealistic for that to be the case. What if the 16 spike is just the cleanse? That's it. They're just waiting on the Karzim cleanse to justify keeping Void and Mosh. That might be the thought process. Again, it still feels a little risky. And that being said, No Tomorrow's had some, you know, kind of unique plays of their own so far into this game when it comes to the transitions. Fan's up on top by himself. Nobody sees him standing still. Such a unique mechanic in Heroes, the stealth system here. For you guys who don't know, it works off of lighting reflected off of the model while stealth. And so how that works is actually you legitimately are less visible on any map that has just got a darker hue. Or you are also just standing still. You are less visible than when moving because, again, your light reflecting is non-existent. So if you ever get stuck, just stand still. Oh, talking trees. Might not be a smart main, but he knows what bushes are scary.
It was 16. Nice cleansing touch. Just got the swap. It was 16. Gale Force got that 16, instantly got aggressive. So whether it was getting sentenced to death or it was the cleansing touch, even Lunara getting choking pollen, so not going for the extra range, instead getting choking pollen just to have a little bit more burst damage with her Noxious Blossom. Gale Force Esports now feel more confident to get into fights. Yeah,
what that does for Lunara is she can flat out win the 1v1 to ball. She just, it's not even close really as long as the Q lands. If the Q misses, it's a different tale here. But the taunt coming out, the mosh pit onto 3, Gus is being reserved at this point in time. Actually already going to be off cooldown, so my bad there. The Void's going to hit, and that is already a volley going down.
Jason's down. What else can Gale Force do? A lot of blinds, a lot of health bars low, but they know that they have the man advantage. There's the run and gun in from Crowan. ETC knocks back Airho. A second clean kill for Gale Force.
Yeah, that's going to be a 2-for-0 trade. They move in now to the Immortal. There's a bit of pressure on bottom, but in the end, it shouldn't be that much. Nothing to really fear for GFP so far as their core is just now losing shields, and it's so early. It shouldn't be able to do that much, and that's going to be the halftime show kicked in here. Varian's still not going to be up. And this is, oh man, it's a terrible position. It's going to be very hard for them to come back. Giving it up might just be in the best interest, again, because they know it's going to bottom. Tiger JK rolling over the wall. Octoface looking to confirm the kill. Gets it. Trees Twilight Dreams, but the dream's dead here. Ice Block is used, buying time.
Still go down in the end. Jason's now coming in. He could be in trouble. Strafe trying to get the kill. Lunara goes down. Casanova goes back in. He's got 2 low targets.
Oh, he's
There's
going to
bomb.
swap targets. He's not going to... Oh,
Blade dash. Blade dash in. Does he have it? Ball is back. There it is. 2 swaps. He gets 1 kill. Does he get the second?
The W, that's the stuff is healing him up. At 13, Crowman getting the self-heal there, and he's going to be able to win the trade. Now Jason sees Equinox, has the Volt, but Fan ends up hitting a beautiful Seeker there. Not going to Vorpal back. There goes the power slide. They move in. Jason here has a limited life. Erho now is on full retreat. Can he get the kill on Erho is the question. It's looking like the answer here is going to be no. Good body block coming out from Fan. Now we see Tiger JK is back here.
What a
If you ever wanted to know what trickling in looked like, we in fact are experiencing here. No tomorrow. Fan might, with the free open, he will lose the trade if he barrel rolled in. The most important thing into that matchup is making sure you get full value out of your W if you are the Falstad.
Right, especially with Static Shield, which he has.
Yeah.
And the back and forth continuing with Tiger JK, but Crowan's back, so is Equinox. Gale Force Esports trying to burn down the Immortal now as each and every member slowly resurrects. Just 15 seconds until we get Varian. And no tomorrow we're gonna need him because this is a well-shielded Immortal.
Yeah, they're gonna need a little bit more than Variant at this point in the game because this is a big Immortal. That 4 is in the way, but it's really not going to be able to do much. Way too much HP, and at this late in the game, the Immortals hit significantly harder than what we've experienced so far. The range damage, though, between Falstad and Vala should be enough to get a little bit of damage there. We see Q Vala coming into play. Falstad's actually soaking on the top, though. So that's going to put them even in experience. Falstad actually flew, but Zeratul saw it, so Zeratul looking for the flank. Oh, man. He is scouted.
Here comes Fan joining up with the team.
Odin down.
Odin used to continue the siege. Gale Force knowing that they're very close to getting 20 if they could just get a few more structures down.
Yeah, they're going to snap Void the minute that they get 20 here. That's going to be a turret, not enough to get 20. They're waiting, see him being as patient as possible. Power slide goes down. Erho is taking damage. He goes in for the taunt there on to Zeratul. He gets sniffed out. He teleports directly out, but it costs Akaface's life. In fact, he was silenced. No opportunity to keep himself alive. Now Jason going in. Mike Udall getting the trade there with a leaping strike over the wall, but good heals coming out from trees, but he goes down. The Void there is still up. Tiger JK now.
Equinox.
They got 1 kill. How much more are they going to be able to get at this point in time?
He's barely stayed alive. Trees and Tiger JK get the kill. Crowan will go down 2. Gale Force Esports lose 3 for only just getting that 1 kill. And it all started with that amazing taunt from Erho on Zeratul as Fan came in looking for that Void, just like he said.
I don't know how he got revealed, to be honest. I don't know if a spell hit him. I don't know if a scouting rune was dropped, but whatever it was, that reaction time on the side of Erho was the only reason that fight went the way it did.
And that not only allowed Erho and the rest of No Tomorrow to stay alive, they're going for core at this point. They don't have